The Downer, original version. I don't really need to introduce or build up the amazing world of Gumball, since my most popular video is about that show. It's safe to say you're all familiar. What most people aren't familiar with, however, is The Downer, an episode that, like all the others, follows the naming scheme of The Blank, which seems to name a lot of the episodes of Amazing World of Gumball. Showing up in Season 3, this episode was about the Wattersons trying to cheer up Gumball after being in a bad mood. He then wishes for his family to disappear, and they do, along with everyone else in town. While that sounds rather normal and similar plots have been done by other shows, the original version of the episode, according to Ben Bouclet, was going to be darker in tone, resulting in the episode's rewriting into the version that aired on TV. As of now, the original script is nowhere to be found.
So, how do you guys like my loaf? Oh, it's nice. It's like all the flavors collide and explode in your mouth, giving a distinctive burnt tire taste.
Dude, I love what you did with the onions. And it was great to taste them again. I would say we were gonna get food poisoning, but there's no way this counts as food.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but you say food is like food.
Action Replay for Wii. The Action Replay cheating devices were a staple for many people's childhoods. While they phased out in popularity in the 2000s, the Wii still managed to get a version of the device. The launch of the Wii Action Replay was quite small, only popping up at a few stores, and when it did go to these stores, the sales were not large in number. Mattel, the company that released the Action Replay, also released a disc device called the Wii Freeloader previous to this, which did considerably better sales-wise. A firmware update made the freeloaders not work, while the Action Replays could still work past the update, making them much more usable on newer Wiis at the time. The disc-based version of the Action Replay is, as a result, as opposed to the SD card version, highly sought after, with none being available secondhand. A few of these likely still exist in the unsuspecting homes of users who don't know they possess a piece of lost media.
In a changing world, one young Inuit boy maintains the age-old tradition.
An Inuit helps anyone who is lost in a blizzard.
Fights to save his people.
I have come to confront you, so the game may return and my people no longer hunger.
Nanook's Adventures. Sometimes called Nanook's Great Hunt, this Teletoon series was a French-Canadian made series about a boy whose father goes missing and he tries to find him. It was quite interesting being one of the first, if not the first, animated series to center around an Inuit main character and theming. Sorry, Water Tribe, you don't count. As well as this cartoon is notable for being broadcast in the Inuktitut language on the Aboriginal Peoples Network. While the language itself would be notable, Wikipedia even says this is the first animated series to air specifically in the Nunavik dialects, which are spoken in northern Quebec. Only one of the English episodes can be watched today on Dailymotion, while all of the episodes can be watched in Persian. The English versions of the episodes that are not episode 1 are lost.
You know that you've occasionally shot things that were not allowed to be aired. You shot something, you wanted to air it.
Yeah, we shot this bit where I dressed up like Ronald McDonald and I went into a McDonald's. And legal
I can't imagine why they wouldn't let you do that.
The legal department was actually cool with it, but ad sales was like, dude, we put toys, we're Cartoon Network, we put toys in Happy Meals, this isn't happening. But I brought that.
Eric Andre's Demo Tape. In 2012 on Adult Swim, the first season of the Eric Andre Show aired. Known for its absurd humor, it carved its niche on Adult Swim as a live-action show and a majority animation block. In 2009, Andre shot a demo pilot for what would become the aforementioned series. The pilot was very low budget, as it was recorded in an abandoned bodega with Andre and only a few other people involved in the recording. Eric Andre then taught himself how to use Final Cut, putting together the 7-minute demo. This demo was rejected by many networks before being eventually picked up by Adult Swim. Most of the information I gave to you was revealed in a bumper that aired before the first episode of the actual show. Only 2 skits from the demo have surfaced online. Since no home media releases have occurred, and the ball is now likely out of Eric Andre's court on this one, the likelihood of the demo tape getting officially released is rather low. Futurama GameCube game. The second most well-known series by Matt Groening was of course Futurama, and back in the early 2000s, if you had a popular cartoon, that bad boy was getting turned into a video game for just about every platform that existed. Of course, in theory, Futurama was no different in this regard, though the planned GameCube game of Futurama was never released. The game was announced all the way back in 2000, 3 years before its planned release. However, by April of 2023, suddenly the only news of the game's release concerned the PS2 and Xbox platforms, with no word on what happened to the GameCube version. This confused people, however, as trailers released after that announcement included GameCube footage. Either that announcement was a mistake, or the inclusion of the GameCube footage was a mistake. But either way, IGN later reported after the game's release for the other platforms in North America that the reason for the omission of a GameCube version was simply due to declining GameCube sales. There was thoughts of a European release possibly occurring, but this never happened, despite mistakenly being reported by IGN. There's now only 50 seconds of gameplay footage released to the public. Sonic 3 and Knuckles mobile port. The and Knuckles portion of Sonic 3 and Knuckles was intended as a way of adding extra content to the original game due to cartridge space limitations. In 2011, Sega commissioned Christian Whitehead to port Sonic CD to mobile devices, and later on he would do the same to Sonic 1 and 2 with the help of Simon Tomley. The same was planned to be done with Sonic 3 and Knuckles before copyright issues arose, as one of the composers did not want his work to be repurposed for a mobile port, which halted production of the port. With the new emulation restrictions relaxed, this lost search becomes a rather moot point, but without the installation of external emulators, Sonic 3 and Knuckles cannot be played on a mobile device through legitimate means. All that's been publicly available is a less than 3-minute clip showing the proof of concept. Nickelodeon Level Builder. In the era before the entire internet basically killed Flash support, there was Nickelodeon Level Builder. It was a Flash game on the Nickelodeon website that had a couple of versions. The 2009 version was in a lower resolution than the later version, and also removed the ability to add checkpoints and change the title screen. The second version didn't just remove features though, as it added the ability for users to create different win conditions. Why do sequels to level creator games always seem to do that? Anyway, even as there were multiple versions, there were also subsets of each version, as there were variants for different franchises as well. These included SpongeBob, iCarly, Penguins of Madagascar, Fanboy and Chum Chum, the live-action Last Airbender movie, Honey Nut Cheerios, Danimals, and Lucky Charms. These variants, and the two respective versions of each, will only live on in the form of videos and screenshots taken when the game was available, as the game is now lost today. Hell's Kitchen JR footage. During Season 3 of Hell's Kitchen, 12 competitors were against each other to win a prestigious head chef job at a Nevada resort. However, there were originally 13 competitors in that season, as the editors did their best to scrub a contestant by the name of JR from the first episode of the season. However, he can be seen in certain frames from the Signature Dish Challenge. As well as this, there are 13 trays shown in the Signature Dish section, but only 12 of them are shown to be criticized by Gordon Ramsay. What happened was that JR had spread false rumors about one contestant having an affair with her boss. And also, JR is believed to have leaked personal information about the other competitor. Obviously, since these rumors were slanderous, and now someone outside the contestant pool was involved, obviously JR had violated the NDA, leading to his scrubbing from the show. Since the nature of his infractions were more serious, he was eliminated during the Signature Dish Challenge, and his footage, if there is any, is obviously withheld to most likely never see a public release, outside of the few frames where you can see like his shoulder or his arm or something like that. If you want to learn more, I highly suggest watching Blue Knight's video on the subject, which will be linked in the description. Twitch plays Pokemon. In 2014, the concept of users controlling a game using Twitch livestream chat was a new thing. The original stream of Twitch Plays Pokemon was infamous for the traction it got, as well as using thousands of chat message inputs to beat the original Generation 1 Pokemon game. Quite a bit of the original stream is lost, as about the first day and a half of the stream wasn't even recorded. There are a few screenshots from that time, but it's very unlikely that we'll see full footage again. There is also some video past that point, but there are various holes for the timeline that it would be very difficult to piece together. Now this entry is kind of a 2-for-1, because a video talking about this stream, Top 10 Moments from Twitch Plays Pokemon by Jwits, was also lost for a while as he deleted it, due to copyright issues with a piece of fan art in the video. There has been a mirror of that video which I believe contains some otherwise lost footage, but the video still isn't available in high quality. Donkey Does F1. This is by far one of the weirdest pieces of lost media I've showcased on this series. During its last season, 2004, the Jaguar Racing Formula 1 team had one particular mechanic bring in an inflatable version of the character Donkey from Shrek on the team's tour of the various locations that the team would race. As the team was sold and became Red Bull Racing the following year, these photos have extra sentimental value to the team, as well as internet users who were following these photos at the time. The team rallied around this inflatable after the original photos were only to be at the Belgian Grand Prix. Eventually, these photos were uploaded to their own website with some inappropriate entries being removed. While a good majority of the photos haven't been archived, there is a small fraction of them available. The website to which they were originally uploaded doesn't exist anymore, and a lot of the links are just dead ends on the Wayback Machine anyway. It's believed that a full collection of all the photos exists on a CD, but tracking down such a CD is nearly impossible.